University Relations here at Youngstown State University. Thank you for coming in today. It is one of those days that you don't wake up and you think are going to happen, but what I can tell you is that I'm unbelievably proud of our police department and our faculty on this campus, that the first thing that came to their mind was the safety of our students and the safety of our campus. I will allow all of the questions to be answered by our chief, Sean Varso, from the YSU Police Department. Sean?
Good afternoon. If there's no objections, I'm going to start with a brief outline of what we have so far and what transpired. At 11:07 this morning, we received a call at the YSU Police Department about a physical confrontation that was taking place in Kilcawley Center on the second floor area by the info desk. As our officers arrived, which was about 2 minutes later, they were informed by the victim, in this case, that a subject had brandished a firearm during the confrontation with him. The victim immediately fled the scene and called the police department. At that time, we did not know where the suspect had gone to. The last place that he was seen was in the vicinity of the rec center on the breezeway level. The information that we received initially from the victim stated that there was a physical confrontation between himself and the suspect, and that during the confrontation, the firearm was brandished. The victim initially was uncooperative with our officers. They did not want to give any information out. They didn't want to give a description. What we went with at the time when we put the lockdown out was the information that we originally had was that there was a gun. Going with that information, we placed the campus in lockdown and immediately dispatched all of our officers to the scene as much as possible. With that response, we also got response from Youngstown Police Department, Mahoney County Sheriff's Department, Ohio State Highway Patrol, various task forces arrived on campus to assist us. We immediately, as best as we could, with the information on hand, searched the area to see if we could locate the suspect. The victim did give us a description, which we did put out to campus. The description we received was a dark-skinned black male, short dreads, wearing a black hoodie with red and white writing on it. He was also carrying a backpack. That is the information that we went with. That was the information we broadcast to campus. As we continued on with the investigation, we were able to get witnesses into the station who gave us the name of the suspect. With the help of the Youngstown Police Department and our detective division, we were able to locate the family members of the suspect and engage him in conversation on the phone. The suspect was asked to come in to resolve the situation. He voluntarily did come to our station. Right now, he's being questioned by our detectives. Our witness, we are still gathering witness information. We are still gathering any video information if it is available. We are also getting statements from our victim to just go over what we have. As of right now, it's still an active investigation. Any details that I can give you would be few and far between at this point in time.
Is he charged with anything then?
As of right now, he is not charged.
Okay. Do you believe he actually did show a firearm?
We are actually interviewing witnesses right now to see if that's the fact. We have no physical evidence. We have no firearm in our custody, so we are investigating that continually.
There was talk that something happened a month ago. Is that something that you're hearing, that this all started a month ago? And
the information that we have, there's nothing that occurred here on campus. There may have been something that occurred in another jurisdiction, in another area. Again, we are actively investigating it, and we are getting that information.
do you have any idea what it was that made the physical altercation start this morning, and is this guy a student on campus?
The suspect is not a student. Our victim is a student. Again, we're getting witness information to actually let us know what other people saw. Part of the video that we do have, there was a number of people present in the area when this occurred. that's about all we can find from the video right now. Again, we are looking at other video to see what else we can find. So we're actively trying to gather those witness statements to see what other people saw.
As far as the physical altercation, when you say physical altercation, how far did that go? Just grabbing him, or?
As far as we've found so far, and as far as what the witnesses that we have already talked to, it wasn't really a, I guess you could say, knockdown, drag him out fight. It was basically a lot of yelling, pushing, and shoving.
Okay. And that it's unclear what that was about at this point?
Correct. It's still under investigation. We're still trying to get that information.
Okay.
Chief, did the lockout go as planned? We heard from someone that perhaps some of the doors did not lock.
Again, we're going to do a debrief with this situation that happened today. Anything that happens can be improved upon. Probably there was some instances of things that didn't go right, but again, we're going to fix those things to make sure that when if this happens again, that it goes a little bit smoother.
What's the procedure? Do the exterior doors lock only, or do the interior doors of the classrooms lock as well? And do teachers need codes for that?
There's no codes. We immediately broadcast to our facilities department to start locking down the exterior doors of the buildings. Individual classrooms can lock if the faculty members have keys to them. There are some doors that don't lock. It just depends on the room that you are in. The information that we gave to the campus community to lock down as much as possible, to go into those secure areas where they could get locked down.
How safe do you feel everybody was, though, considering the way everything went? I mean, do you feel the alerts were good and that everything else went as planned?
With the information that we were receiving into our department, the information that we were giving out to campus as much as we could, my main goal was to get basically eyes on and hands on to the suspect. That was our main goal with the alert and the lockdown. With the help of our law enforcement partners, we were able to saturate the area with law enforcement. Like I said, we had a number of agencies assisting us in that fact. Just the mere fact of us having that much law enforcement in the area, I felt very confident in our response to this. As we saturated the area, my main goal was then to get the suspect into our station where we could find out a little bit more information and we could investigate a little bit further. But as from a law enforcement standpoint, I think we were able to provide enough resources to handle the situation.
Did it complicate things that the victim initially did not want to give a lot of info?
It did. We were able to convince him when we talked to him further. It was important and it was made incumbent upon him that the lives of the campus community were basically in his hands, that to come forward with the information in hopes of him helping his fellow students, helping his community. Once he was brought around to that fact, he did come in, he did provide us with the information.
Some YSU faculty members have expressed that they felt unprepared for this situation. Is there anything that YSU PD is going to do to make sure that these faculty members feel prepared?
Again, we're going to take a look at what happened today, what went right today, and anything that we need to improve on. We're going to take a look at that and see what we need to improve on. I don't doubt that there was some hiccups. I don't doubt that there were some things that went wrong. And with situations like this, you always look to improve it. Fortunately for us today, this incident turned out the way it did. And I'd like to see this as something we can build upon. Yes, there are improvements that can be made, and we're going to be looking to improve those.
Do you guys have drills for like an active shooter type situation here on campus? Or?
Our department hosts the ALICE training, the lockdown training for different departments. That is made available through the campus. We routinely give those classes. Our police officers are routinely drilled and trained in active shooter training. More of a widespread drill on campus we probably are going to be looking to do in the near future. This was something that was planned prior to this incident happening today. So as part of, or any normal training cycle in that from us, we look to do drills. And something coming up that we were putting together is a drill on active shooting.
That would include the faculty?
That would include the parties who are responsible for the students in that. So we're going to offer as much training as we can. And the training is out there. We want people to take advantage of it.
And
I think we have time for one more question if we could, please.
can students attend this training too so that they feel prepared?
The students, ALICE training is open to student groups. Actually, we've had a few student groups that have requested the ALICE training, and our officers have been able to give it. Housing is a good example of a group that routinely does it on a yearly basis. So they're actually put through that class every year as their new RAs come in, so that they're prepared then for the school season.
Sean, thank you.
Sean, what SH don't we have?
SHAW.
Is there a picture of that?
On behalf of everyone here at the university and in the local community, we want to thank Sean and his force, Shannon and her department, and Eddie Howard, and all of the folks that stepped up to the plate when the situation arose. And as Sean mentioned, there are always teachable moments. It's a reminder of we constantly talk to our students and staff and faculty and everyone involved that having those penguin alerts lined up, and if your cell phone number changes, make sure we get that into the system. That's critical. Sometimes it becomes more real when situations happen, and what exactly our percentage is of our students and faculty and staff that have the alerts, I don't know. Many times we're all in group settings, so we silence our devices and so forth, but it's a great reminder. It's also a great reminder that we're fortunate where we are, that the YPD was right on the spot. There were other jurisdictions that stepped in, State Highway Patrol. We got alerts from FBI and all the rest. Was there anything they could do, to help the situation? And so it reminds us that we're in a pretty good place when it comes to situations that arise. And as Sean said, I'm sure that we can get better at it. We do have plenty of opportunities for training of all kinds, whether they be the active shooter trainings, just how we deal with one another trainings, and that type of thing, that sometimes they feel like a burden, and then when situations arise, they remind you that those types of things aren't a burden, and they really are a part of all of our responsibility. And so we appreciate all the steps that were taken. I thought our staff did a good job of making a frequent, intermittent, once they knew information, they got those right out, and it's just a reminder that we take those alerts and we take those directions very seriously, and that we don't ever assume that maybe we're making more of something than it ought to be, because when you have a real problem, you need to make it priority number one, and I'm sure that'll be a great teachable moment for all of us. And really, in today's communication world, there's no reason why we can't communicate very quickly. As all of you know, as the word got out, all of you were probably hearing from people a far distance from here, because the word got out, and people were concerned, and people wanted to make sure that we were all safe. And I think our people did a great job of responding to a situation that you hope never arises, but you have to assume can arise. So with that, thanks again, Sean, and to all the staff. And I can't think of any other questions, because the only one allowed to say anything is him. So I couldn't answer your questions anyway, but we appreciate your concern for it. And really the message is, I feel as if we're in great hands, and it's up to all of us to pay attention to whatever direction we get when circumstances arise. Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming, appreciate it.